whenever women take over, and it's just because it's the order of God, right? When women take over, evil easily works through them to bring forth, Satan works through them to bring forth evil. It's in the home when the men are not loving God with all their heart, soul, and might, along with nothing else. Have Nick get the phones for me. Along with nothing else. And when the men don't stand between the mother and the children, evil works through the mother to destroy the children. And she can't help it because of her nature. Because in the homes, the men is the light and the men are the light and women are the darkness. And so the darkness has to protect the children. The light has to protect the children from the darkness. Otherwise, the kids will end up emotional, drug addict, alcoholic, sluts and slut makers. Sluts and slut makers, liars, thieves, murderers, gang members, hating their neighbors, emotional, suicidal, irritable, whatever dark thing that comes. If the father doesn't stand between the children, it will happen. It will happen. And no way around it. And so you have, that's why you always, there's an opposite to everything. Day and night, right and wrong, up and down, in and out, sick and wellness, whatever, right? You have the opposite. And so the mother is the negative and the father is the positive. But the positive is supposed to bring the mother out of the negative. But because men have been taken away over these years, turned away from their fathers, they can't deal with the negative in their wives or girlfriends or fiancés and all that. It's so amazing to know that. It's just mind-blowing to know it. Because growing up, it wasn't as apparent to me as it is now. And I noticed that in the world, whenever, I don't know a time when it has not happened, the women take over companies, businesses, schools, government, the playground, whatever they take over, they end up bringing forth evil. They're bringing LGBTQ, they're bringing drag queens, they're bringing just mentally retarded people because it's in their nature and they identify with it emotionally. No, am I wrong? I mean, correct me, that's pretty harsh. What? What do you think about it? It's like you lost your best friend. He like this, folks.
No.
You lose boo?
No, I was thinking about something else. But
were you sitting by the dock of the bay?
No. My mind drifted off for a quick second.
What were you? Oh, okay, don't tell us.
What were you saying?
If you notice, whenever women take over, whether it's in the home or in the government or in schools or in police departments or in aftermaths, that they bring in evil.
Oh, yeah.
Evil comes through them so easily.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why the father needs to be there, because the father is the light and the mother is the darkness.
Right.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, and the father was there. You would see way less of these people.
Absolutely.
It's insane.
But as children, the fathers are being turned away from the men are being turned away from their fathers, the boys are, and they become subject to the darkness, and the darkness recreate them. And they don't understand, they don't see what's going on. It's amazing. It's just mind-blowing to know it. And yet, when you know it, when you can see it for yourself, it's not like a surprise. It's like you already knew it, but you forgot it. And so you're reminded of it within. It's a spiritual battle, and it starts within you, and it spreads out into the world through others. I want you to know that, but you're not going to know it for yourself until you overcome the darkness and return to the light of the fathers. There will come a day when I return the children to the fathers and the fathers to the children. It is happening now. If ever there was a time when it was needed, it is now. And it's so amazing. It really is mind-blowing. Yet, it's not surprising that women are being used for destruction. I don't care if they're a Christian woman with the Bible, or preacher woman, or psychologist woman, or therapist woman, or MS degree woman, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's not in her. The darkness is in the woman. And it's supposed to be the job of the father to help them overcome that. But the fathers have to return to the father so their nature can change. It's mind-blowing. It's just so mind-blowing to me. It's like mind-blowing. And so what do you do when you know this? You know what I'm saying? Why? What are you having a Christian moment?
Why?
You're doing this like you're in church.
It's true.
It is mind blowing. You titled this "Let a Woman Run Things Suffer."
Oh yeah.
And so tell us about this, where you get it from, and what's going on.
Well, I got it from Zero Hedge, and they're reporting on the new rules that the NASDAQ wants to implement. And NASDAQ is an American stock exchange. I believe the second biggest in the world.
Wow.
Where public companies can trade their stock.
Who is the biggest one? Do you know?
No.
Okay.
But it is, NASDAQ is huge.
Right. I know.
And they're pushing the SEC, the Security Exchange Commission, which is in charge of regulating securities being ETFs, stocks, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And they're pushing the SEC to approve a rule that would require publicly traded companies and it would require these companies to have at least one woman director and one diverse director.
And what is diverse?
Diverse, well, they said the criteria for diverse can include someone who just simply identifies as female. So so if you want to be publicly traded on the NASDAQ, you're going to have to comply with these rules, and you're going to be forced to have a woman director and a diverse director, which includes a minority, LGBTQ person, or even just a guy that says he's a woman, or you have to be trans or whatever.
So a white guy can pretend that he thinks he's a woman. He doesn't really have to think that way, but he can just walk over there and say, look, I'm a female. And they have to believe it, right?
I thought that myself.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the companies that are already out there that are just going to have to comply, they'll be like, okay, George, you're the woman now.
That's
just
right.
to follow the rules, right? But
so they're trying to,
right.
is trying to force the trading companies to have these kind of people in their business?
Well, they want the SEC to approve it. And if the SEC approves it, you got to do it. And so...
What? No.
And you make an interesting point about what can't a guy just pretend to be a woman and to follow the rules?
Right.
Well, take this in. The exchange, they want to force companies to report their data on board diversity. So they're gonna have to start reporting. I'm wondering if the SEC has a board of people to check your diversity. I wonder if they'll go up to George, who's pretending to be a woman, and be like, "Are you really trans?" And
let me see your diversity.
Right. And so
pull down your pants, George.
I'm just. It's crazy what you're gonna have to comply to, and if you don't, if you're not diverse, you'll face consequences. They say you're gonna have to, including one of the consequences, besides being delisted from the exchange and being able to just be listed on the stock exchange in the first place.
Yeah.
You might have to publicly explain yourself.
What do you
why
mean
you're not
publicly
diverse.
explain yourself?
Like, it's not distinct, but I imagine you have to go on TV or make a statement or put out a statement as to why you're not diverse. That'll be one of your punishments.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And if you don't do what they say, they can delete you from NASDAQ?
Yeah, you'll be delisted.
Delisted.
Yeah. It's crazy. You have
That's
to-
mind-blowing, man. But this is what happens when you turn your life over to the world.
It's such a radical change to the way you do business that the effects that it'll have, you can't even begin to. It'll definitely be a detriment, but you can't even begin to calculate the like detriment it's going to have to business and economy. It's just.
So how did they hire a woman or something? How did it get this way?
It had to be a woman.
They hired a woman?
Well,
NASDAQ hired a woman?
Well, NASDAQ has a female CEO. The female
What
CEO
the?
is Adina Friedman.
Adina.
Right.
Adina. Remember that black movie, Adina?
Nope. I don't know.
Picture, is that Adina?
That's Adina
Is
Friedman.
Adina black?
No.
Oh,
No,
she
no.
looked black.
Adina Robinson Testa. I don't think she's
She
black.
looked like an Indian or Mexican.
thought so.
Or some kind of foreigner black.
You know, I thought so, but she had her
But
parents.
she got black hair? No.
Asian.
Cajun. I don't know. Her parents have white names, but I don't know.
Okay.
Could be.
But they
not a
hired the
real white.
first black CEO. Not
First
black,
woman.
but the first woman CEO of NASDAQ. And that's why hell is coming in. Darkness
NASDAQ
is coming in.
Adina's the first female to be the CEO for NASDAQ.
Yeah.
And she's also the first woman to ever run a major stock exchange.
What the?
It's crazy. And she went right to radical corruption, like female empowerment. This woman on her Twitter talks about, and I just put them in, Joelle, if you have those tweets, but she tweets about Juneteenth and Black Lives Matter, like all the way radical. It's like so willing to go along with corruption and perversion, really, because that's what the transgender thing is, too.
Yeah.
It's a perversion of
Right.
gender and sexuality.
Well, I'm not surprised that she's quoting those things because that's the purpose of having black people on earth, and so that the evildoers can use the blacks in order to bring in not only women used for evil, the blacks are used for evil as well.
Mm-hmm. Today, NASDAQ is sharing additional steps in our continued commitment to diversity and inclusion. Black Lives Matter, and we are committed to creating lasting positive change. And she talks about our commitment to equality. It's like a major stock exchange has no business in committed to equality. It's plain numbers.
Yeah.
I just need the truth. I need none of this equality stuff.
It's over for for NASDAQ now for the investors.
Yeah.
She's gonna destroy it.
Right.
It's already being destroyed, but she will destroy it. You have another tweet on that?
First, I'd like to recognize this on June 19th, right? She had to go out and say that today is Juneteenth, which commemorates the 155th anniversary of the end of slavery. She goes on to talk about amplifying black voices, a multimedia retrospective featuring works of arts and photography.
What a shame.
More like pandering.
And plus, June 19th is not when slavery ended. It was when the blacks found out it had ended.
Right, I've heard that.
Yeah.
That's when the word got out.
Another lie that's been told to the blacks, and they'll celebrate another lie on June 19th. What the? But this is horrible, man.
Yeah, 75% of these companies on NASDAQ don't meet the new requirements. So if this were to go down, the effects it would have on such a large stock exchange was just like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna see if people comply, right?
Bring in the darkness of the woman you can destroy.
All the way. And we haven't really been able to rely on these big companies. You see so many
Right.
big companies out there donating to Black Lives Matter. We'll see if they go along, you know?
They have fear. They really do have fear. And so they bring in, the fear is causing them to bring in the enemy, and the enemy destroy them anyway. It set them up to be conquered. This is from Periscope. EJ says, it's not the mother, it's not having the father in their lives. That's what I'm saying. When the father's not there, if he's not there, or if he's there and he doesn't stand between the mother and the children, she still would do it. She would destroy the children. recreate her, and they'll grow up miserable. And then they'll go to a female psychologist or a beta male psychologist or counselor or so-called expert, and they will get a medication for spiritual issues. Isn't that dumb? But that's what's going on. Amazing. And don't forget to like, follow, tweet, subscribe, and share the Jesse Lee Peterson radio show, folks. We really appreciate it. We are at war. It is a spiritual battle for the soul of America. And it's going to take all of us to do it.